You ever notice how being the good person always costs you the most? The sleepless nights, the fake apologies, the guilt for things that weren't even your fault. You give, they take, you forgive, they repeat. And the world claps for them while you bleed quietly. Nietzsche once said, "Goodness can destroy the very soul that carries it." So, yeah, maybe being good isn't as holy as they told you. Maybe it's the reason you keep losing. Today we're tearing apart the shocking cost of goodness, Nietzsche's hidden truth. 1. The trap of being a good person. Let's start with the lie society feeds you since birth. Be a good person and good things will come to you. Then why do the most selfless people get trampled on like doormats? Why do manipulators win promotions while the kind-hearted ones get ignored? Nietzsche called this slave morality, a system created by the weak to control the strong. He said the idea of good wasn't born out of love or virtue, it was born out of resentment. The powerless invented goodness as a weapon to guilt the powerful. Think about it. The ancient warriors, the ones who conquered, built, created, were called evil. But the timid, obedient, and harmless, they called themselves good. In Nietzsche's eyes, goodness became a survival tactic for the powerless. The world started rewarding humility, obedience, and self-sacrifice. Not because it's noble, but because it keeps everyone tame. So, you, the modern nice person, are playing a rigged game. You've been trained to obey a morality that benefits everyone but you. 2. The hidden price you pay. Let me break it down. The real cost of goodness isn't just exhaustion. It's the slow murder of your individuality. When you constantly suppress your anger, your ambition, your desires, all to look good, you're slicing away pieces of yourself. You become a people pleaser wrapped in guilt. You smile when you want to scream. You forgive when you should draw boundaries. And you call that being good? That's self-betrayal dressed up as morality. Nietzsche said, "Beware that. When fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster. But what if you've become something worse? A harmless version of yourself. You're not a monster. You're not a hero. You're a ghost, invisible, polite, and painfully replaceable. The world doesn't reward harmlessness. It rewards self-respect." 3. Why society loves the good and fears the strong. Here's the twisted part. Society needs you to stay good, because the moment you stop trying to please everyone, you become unpredictable. And that terrifies people. When you start saying no, when you start choosing yourself, they'll call you arrogant, cold, or selfish. Not because you've changed for the worse, but because they've lost control over you. Nietzsche called this the rebellion of the herd. The crowd hates anyone who dares to rise above them. They'll shame your ambition, mock your confidence, and label your independence as evil. You'll see that the moment someone starts setting boundaries, everyone panics. They whisper, "He's changed." Damn right he's changed. He stopped being your puppet. Being good in this world often means being tamed. A lion taught to purr so everyone feels safe around it. But Nietzsche would tell you, you were never meant to be safe. You were meant to be powerful. 4. The madness of moral chains. Nietzsche once said, "Morality is the herd instinct in the individual." What he meant is this: your moral compass might not even be yours. It's been implanted in you by the crowd, by religion, by people who told you to be small so they could sleep better at night. You've been programmed to feel guilty for wanting more. You crave rest, they call you lazy. You crave power, they call you greedy. You crave freedom, they call you rebellious. But here's the truth. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. The cost of goodness is that you start living life according to everyone else's definition of right and wrong, while slowly forgetting your own. You live to please the crowd, but when you fall, the crowd won't catch you. 5. The sacred anger within you. Here's where Nietzsche gets beautifully savage. He didn't say, "Stop being good." He said, "Become whole." To him, a complete human being embraces both sides, light and dark, kindness and rage, creation and destruction. Suppressing your darker nature doesn't make you moral, it makes you incomplete. You can't truly be good until you face the beast within you and learn to control it. It's not about being cruel, it's about having the power to be cruel, but choosing not to. That's what makes your goodness real. Think about it. A harmless person isn't good. They're just harmless. A powerful person who chooses restraint, that's strength. That's true virtue. So stop trying to delete your anger, your confidence, your hunger, channel it, refine it, master it. That's how you evolve from a good person to a strong one. 6. The world doesn't owe you for being good. This part might sting. No one owes you kindness just because you're kind. No one owes you loyalty just because you were loyal. The universe doesn't hand out medals for moral effort. That's the cruel but freeing truth. If your goodness depends on external validation, you're not good, you're just performing goodness. So, stop waiting for applause. Do the right thing because it aligns with your nature, not because you want to be seen as nice. 7. Reclaiming your power. The moment you realize the cost of goodness, something inside you changes. You stop apologizing for your standards. You stop explaining your boundaries. You stop begging people to understand your intentions. You don't become cruel. You become real. You start giving from abundance, not from guilt. You start helping others without destroying yourself in the process. That's what Nietzsche meant by the Übermensch. Not a perfect being, but one who creates his own values instead of inheriting them. You stop asking, what is good, and start asking, what is good for me? And suddenly, your life starts to make sense again. 8. When goodness becomes a prison. Let's be honest, sometimes being good is just fear in disguise. You stay quiet because you're scared of rejection. You overgive because you're scared of being unloved. You smile through disrespect because you're scared of being alone. That's not goodness. That's emotional self-sabotage. Real virtue, real goodness, doesn't come from fear. It comes from freedom. The freedom to say no. The freedom to choose yourself. The freedom to walk away. You can't call it goodness if it costs you your peace. 9. The balance, kindness with a spine. Let's clear this up. I'm not telling you to be heartless. I'm telling you to stop being weak. Be kind, but keep your sword sharp. Be generous, but know when to stop giving. Be patient, but don't tolerate disrespect. Because goodness without strength isn't goodness. It's surrender. And the world doesn't respect people who surrender their power for approval. So, what's the shocking cost of goodness? It's your authenticity, your energy, your boundaries, your self-worth. And the longer you keep paying that price, the more you'll wake up feeling lost, like a stranger in your own skin. Nietzsche's hidden truth wasn't anti-goodness. It was anti-slavery. He wanted you to wake up, break free from the herd, and define your own moral compass. Being good should never mean being silent. It should never mean shrinking yourself. It should mean having the power to destroy, but the wisdom not to. Now, let's get one thing straight. The point of this video isn't to encourage bad behavior, arrogance, or selfishness. It's about understanding why you're being good, and making sure it comes from conviction, not conditioning. Because being good shouldn't mean destroying yourself for others. You should be good because it's right, because your values demand it, because your conscience tells you so, not because people said you must be. Good people often have it the worst, not because goodness is wrong, but because they put themselves last and everyone else first. And that's where everything falls apart. So be good, but not obedient. Be kind, but not naive. Be helpful, but not hollowed out. Because real goodness doesn't drain you, it strengthens you. And that's the kind I want you to find. Now, go out there, be kind, but be dangerously kind. The kind that comes from power, not fear. The comment of the day goes to this user and it reads, "Love all your videos, boss. Thanks for changing my life. You changed your life. I only reminded you that you could."